Hey guys, it's Lisa from TRW, and I am back again with another fall video. I am customizing this little black and white buffalo plaid pillow. This is from the Target dollar spot for the fall. I went ahead and I customized this using Siser. This is Siser StripFlock Pro, and I layered Siser glitter and copper right on top of it. So this is a great use to use your StripFlock Pro and a great way that you can layer on top of it. One of the things that I love about this new vinyl. So I have my design here in Silhouette Studio, and I have my text typed out. I don't have it welded because there's a couple edits that I would like to do for it. Now if you look at this closely, you'll see we have these overlapping lines. Let me take that fill out so you can see it. Which means if we were to cut this, we would have those little sections cut out in the middle, and we don't want that. Now one thing that you'll notice is that this font is kind of jagged. Sometimes that can be an issue, sometimes it's fine. I'm going to do a couple edits to smooth this out, but in reality, I don't think this will affect how it cuts. Now, maybe you'll see me later in this video regarding this decision, but I think it'll be fine. So we're going to go ahead and set up our script font for cutting. So I'm going to click on my words here, I'm going to right click, and we are going to weld. So you can see these overlapping lines are gone, but one thing to keep in mind is sections that are not touching, like this comma, don't get welded together as one object. So since both of these are still selected, and we can see that by the boxes around them, I'm going to right click and make it a compound path, which means I made it into one big object. And sorry, I'm back. I had to adjust my screen so you can see my buttons on the side. Now we're going to repeat the process down here. Select it, right click, weld, not touching, right click, and make compound path. So there are a couple problem areas in here. Because I'm going to be cutting this out somewhat larger, you probably could get away with not fixing them, but I like to fix them. So my problem areas are these little tiny like holes in here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more for you to see it. Part of it being distressed. Well, one thing to keep in mind is when you have a distressed font like this, those holes in there are still part of your design. Like, you can still break it apart. So if you remember what I said earlier about compound path takes multiple objects and combines it into one object, you can do the same with releasing compound path. So I'm going to right click, release compound path. And let me take this fill out so you can see what's happening. So you can see our major sections are still selected, but then all these little tiny distressed parts are selected too. Now, when you select multiple items in Silhouette Studio, you can hold down the Shift button to select multiple things at a time that you click on. Conversely, you can click the Shift button while a bunch of things are selected, and it will deselect items. So what I'm going to do in here is I want to deselect all of the sections that I want to keep, because then the only thing that will be selected in the end will be my little dots right here. So you see these little dots? So now all of these are selected. I can hit delete. And so all of this is fixed. I can go back over here. Now I can right click, make it a compound path, and fill that in so you see it right there. Now I'm just going to repeat the process down here with my fall. So let's go ahead, bring this over, right click, release compound path. I'm going to take my fill out because I feel like it's just easier to see. So I'm holding down Shift. I was actually holding down caps lock just now. Shift, click, 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 click. So all these little sections, now we can delete them, select the whole thing. Now you want to make sure you select the whole thing, because right here, I'm going to fill it in so you can see. What's happening is these little sections are just sitting on top. So we want to select this whole design, right click, make compound path. So where these lines are, it almost like cut it out, because basically it's flattening it up into one big shape. So I'm going to select my whole design, I'm going to combine that into one big compound path, and now I have my initial design set up. Now one thing to keep in mind, and is if you have been watching my videos for a while, you'll know my trick to make sure my design shows up on a pattern background is I want to make an offset. I'm always a fan of offsets. I think that they really frame your design, especially if you're working with glitter vinyls. So I'm going to go ahead, select my design, go to offset. Over here on the right, it's the little star. I'm going to click offset again, and so you can see a preview right here. I'm going to type in a distance of 0.06. I'm going to hit enter to preview it. This allows me to see if I like it. I like this distance, so I'm going to hit apply. Now the same thing as before, if the objects are not touching, they aren't together as one object. So I'm going to keep my whole design. I'm going to keep what's selected now, which is my offset, and I'm going to make it a compound path. But this time I'm going to use a shortcut. I'm going to hit Control E. Let me click in my design, Control E. And now you can see my design is set up as two separate ones. So we're going to put that back. And so now I just need to resize it. Here is my pillow right here. I need to go over and I'm going to measure out how big this is going to be. This is a fairly big size, so I should be good. So I'm going to set this up and then I'm going to go and cut. So when I cut, I'm going to take this, we're going to right click, flip horizontally, this mirrors it, and then for a design like this, I'm just going to move my one color to the side. I'm going to cut this in my white StripFlock Pro, and then I will cut this next one in my copper glitter. All right, so I have my pillow ready to press. What I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to move my heat press over a little bit because I'm going to show you something I would do. Oh, look, a tag from another project. So with a pillow like this, I want to make sure that I'm using heat tape and I'm ensuring the placement of my vinyl. You can see I have both pieces of vinyl here. This is my StripFlock Pro. This is my Siser glitter. Both of them cut and weeded perfectly. I didn't include it just because honestly I thought it would be boring for the video. So I'm going to put my first layer down. Now when you are putting a color on top of a pattern, the offset really makes sure to frame your second color and separates it from that busy background. It's going to work best if you have a color that is somewhere included in your background, maybe even a primary color in it. So this white's going to work out really well. And it's just nice framing. Like it's something to create that separation, but not to draw your eye away from it either. So I'm going to go ahead and I just took my heat tape. This is the TRW Magic heat tape. Do not use Scotch tape. This is made to withstand the heat. So this we're going to use to basically tape it in place, but it's not going to melt all over my design. So I'm just going to go ahead, peel up another piece. Now, if you're really fancy, you can buy a dispenser for this on Amazon. I personally don't like using a dispenser just because I like being able to kind of hold my tape over my design and figure out where I want it to be placed. All right, so I have this tape down. Now, what I'm going to do is I know that my pressure is going to be way too high because my pillow is huge. So I'm going to turn my press. I'm going to turn it clockwise. Clockwise to loosen my pressure so that my pillow can fit under here and my press will close. So this may take a couple presses just because my pillow is huge. So what I did is you can see in the camera that it's kind of wedged in there. So I'm going to use this, then use my press to bring it down. It probably won't click just because this is huge. So I'm kind of just putting my weight into this, trying to get this to sit. The good thing about doing something like this is that, you know, we're not going to be washing our pillow. It's not going to go through our washer. So we want to get it to stay down. Of course, we want a good application, but we don't have to worry as much about our pressure as we would for apparel because it's not going to go through the washer. So you'll notice I'm peeling up this tape and I'm setting it to the side. I can reuse this tape. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. This one is curling on itself, so I may have to get another one for this one. Yeah. Good thing is that this heat tape is pretty affordable, so don't worry, don't feel like you're wasting $1 million if you have to get a new piece. So again, this is StripFlock Pro. I really love that it's a hot peel, hot or cold peel. So I went ahead, took this off. Got pretty good application with it. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead, take my glitter and copper and stack right on top of it. So another reason why I really enjoy the StripFlock Pro is that it's layerable. So we're going to layer right on top of this. I'm going to put this copper down, and then to make sure that my offset looks correct, I am going to tape the living daylights out of this. So I'm going to go ahead, grab another piece of tape, bring it across like this. Tape that, and then I'm going to do another one across the top because I just really want to make sure that this stays. I don't want it to move. You know, this offset is made to come up evenly around my design. So the worst thing that would happen is if I somehow shifted this and it didn't align correctly, okay? So we're going to do that. Now the same process, I'm going to gently wedge this in here. I want to make sure my whole pillow goes in, and then we are going to guide it down and then put a lot of force. We're using our own force to close this because it's definitely not going to close on its own. All right, so we're going to do that. Let's see how this goes. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn this so I can get the other side too. Turns out I put it in the wrong way. So we're going to keep doing that. All right, so we have this all set. Now let's go ahead and lift it up. Check it out. Cute little Hello Fall. This is, again, using something from the Target dollar spot for fall. Super cute. So I'm going to jump up so you can see it closer, and we'll check it out. Okay, here's my finished product. You'll see that I use the Siser StripFlock Pro and the Siser Copper Glitter. Now this is a really great combination for throw pillows because the StripFlock Pro has that nice felted feel. It really blends into the pillow. And then you have, of course, the glitter that goes with this time of year. So I love using Siser glitter and copper. I think it's the perfect fall orange. Really enjoyed doing this video. This is, again, using a decorative pillow from the Target dollar spot for fall. This pillow was $5. A great customization that you can do with it. You can customize this with the last name. This is a great add-on item that you can do for different orders. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you are not already subscribed to us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos, tutorials, trainings, or giveaways.